Where the Force leads, I will follow.
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 Where I lead, they will follow. Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Tales from the Table Studios. We're so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this all week. Whew, it's been an interesting one. Our last episode with our wonderful Sith has been an adventure, and I can't wait to see how our Jedi fare moving forward. We do have an interesting thing I want to take a moment and note, which is that for the first time in our episodes, we begin with the Force unbalanced. If you look at the current pool up in the corner, you will notice that we have 5 dark side points to 3 light side points. It's going to make for some interesting stuff. Now, I may have not mentioned this to anyone beforehand, but I think it's worth mentioning that the longer that the Force spends unbalanced or balanced, the more of an impact it will have on things. So we're very excited to see how long this lasts and to see how it goes. But with that, I don't want to spend too long there because we have a lot to get to. So, hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I am the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios. You can find me on most socials at It's Drake Lionheart. You can find me on Twitter at the Lionheart42. The Lion Knight 42. It doesn't matter. It's fine. All is well. I'm here. I'm excited to be our tail slinger. I'm going to throw things around so we're going to tell you who they are and where you can find them. And we're going to start with Stefan.
Hey everybody, I'm Stefan, and you can find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter under the handle Umbral_KnightX, or you can find me on Blue Sky at Umbral Knight X there as well, talking about social justice issues and history and all of that fun sort of thing in games as well. So yeah. Come check it out when you get the chance.
Yeah. Zach.
Hey everybody, I forgot where the mute button was because I was coughing earlier. My name is Zach Walsh. I'm going to be playing Way Kesh for you today. You can find me on all the socials at Scheduled for Launch. However, I can't remember my Blue Sky login, so we'll see about that. I'm more active on Threads, though. So if you're looking for me, that's where I am.
Wonderful. Caitlin.
Hey everybody, I'm Katelynn Kenny. I use she, her pronouns, and today I'm playing Newton, also uses she, her pronouns, our little mystic Jawa Padawan. You can find me at most places at K Kenny Plays. Yes, Kenney Plays. I'm so excited. Thank you.
And Elsie.
Hi, I'm Elsie. I'm optimistic on all social media. There's an I and 2 I's in the last part there. If you count them, there's a lot. Who do I play? I play Lumira Sol. I forgot. There's a lot of people. Your other Padawan, but instead of a cute little Jawa, just an angry little Thrissian.
Who's been oddly even keel so far.
Don't you just want to go apeshit?
Oh.
Are you tired of being nice?
I mean, listen, you're already starting. It's starting.
I can't be doing that. I can't. They ruined everything for me.
Delightful. If you enjoy any of these amazing people and want to support them, you can do so. Over on our Discord, we have a whole Meet the Cast channel where you can see the cool stuff that they're involved in, what they're doing, where you can find them, where you can interact with them. You should come check it out. You can also say hi while you're there. We've got a great community of wonderful people. It's also where you can get your first chance to see what we've got cooking for the future, to be aware of when we open up casting for any of our series, and just hang out and talk about cool stuff. Some TTRPG and some everything else. It's chaotic and we love it. With that, I think we should get to today's episode. So, I think where we pick up as our camera comes back in, we're going to see the group of you having walked along with Captain Jop to where they're keeping the bodies, as I know that was something that was requested. And from there, I will ask, who is sort of taking point on this?
I guess Veldon would be.
Sure. As you sort of reach the room, the captain sort of like turns to you and he takes a step to the side after opening the door, and it sort of whooshes open. He goes, "Well, you are welcome to do as you'd like. We've done our best to not impede the process."
Thank you, Captain. Kind of step in and survey the scene.
Sure.
Take a look at what we've got.
So, the room is as you might expect, kept relatively chilled. Although the slates on which the two bodies lay also have what you recognize to be a pretty simple, like force field around them that keeps them from entering any state of decay. They are laid out. Immediately, you notice that one of them, who you already know to be the professor, has a large gaping wound in his chest. And it doesn't really take any level of inspection to be able to notice that the wound is sort of seared from the inside. It's very clear what caused this, or at least what it is presented to have been caused by, at the very least. Beside him on a second slab, you see sorry, my computer freaked out for a moment. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure everything didn't explode.
Okay. Apparently, I didn't save my notes, so...
No! No.
Worst.
This is how we know that the force should be balanced, because when it's on the dark side, Lion's computer freezes, and I think they should get negative XP for that.
I'll make sure to let them know. So,
I'm in it to win it, guys.
Their
This is
fault
now
for
a
not abusing their
competition.
powers enough.
No, then it gets worse. Then we wouldn't. Then we'd have some kind
No,
of
if they abuse their
technical-
powers, it goes back to light side more.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, hey guys, I need you guys. I know you're watching, you're listening. Whatever you said you were doing, use your
Excellent. I
powers
hope the yard work's
so
going
much
well.
next session.
Fuck shit up.
Oh,
Fuck
man.
shit up. Just make it our problem, but put it on the light side for us. All right, thanks.
Y'all are the best. I just
There's
want you.
4 of us, and we're greedy.
Oh,
like a
well, if
John
you want
Mulaney
more
bit.
light side points, I think I can help with that too.
No, I want to trade light
Uh,
side points for XP.
No.
I'm trying to be OP. If we're so OP, they can't do anything about it when we finally switch tables. It's fine. Who cares about balance? Let me be OP.
Oh, who cares about balance? This is good. This is exactly the vibes we want from the Jedi. Good, good, good.
I don't know that I've heard anything more Sith at this table.
I
What are
was
you
genuinely a
talking
little
about?
surprised when Lion was like, "Yeah, I
I'm
think it'll be
fine.
Sith. You'll be Jedi." And I was like, "Okay."
Every week, I am more and more confident in the choices that I made in this casting.
Indeed.
So, beside him on the second slab, you see a Syrian laid out, head supported by what looks like a like unique styled brace, with the neck sort of jutted at an awkward angle. You can tell that there has been a lot of force applied to break his neck. There is just this sort of jut against the skin. Besides that, the two look to be in... They seem to be otherwise unmarred.
I want to take a look and see what I can figure out about their condition.
Sure. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
See if I can figure out causes or anything like that.
Okay. So just looking at them, it seems like let me check one thing on your character sheet. Sorry. Which is there it is. I have them all pulled up. I apologize.
That's all right.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm even going to necessarily ask you to roll here as I think about it. Just looking at them and with the information that you have access to, it seems pretty clear, at least for the professor, that the lightsaber is what killed him, or the big hole in his chest is what killed him. I think that you can fairly confidently say that it may not have been the lightsaber left behind, maybe, but it was definitely a lightsaber that did it. There is very few, if anything else, in the known galaxy that can cause that kind of wound. As for the curator, you see that there's a monitor nearby that has sort of a readout, right? And it's easy enough to sort of go through. It seems like his neck was broken, and that is ultimately what killed him. It was not a particularly quick death. It is entirely possible that he was left there for quite a bit before he passed. But that is what they believe killed him. If you would like to inspect the bodies more thoroughly, you can for sure do that. What I think we're going to do is I'm going to ask you first if you are looking over either of them specifically or just both of them, just sort of casually to see what would stand out.
Start with the one with the lightsaber wound for me.
Sure. Are you looking specifically at the wound or just all of like just in general their whole situation?
In general, but then also trying to determine does this look like, from what I know and from what I could tell, does this look like a familiar sort of strike or wound, or does this look like someone who has some skill, or maybe someone who was just stabbing away with a...
Okay, cool. So I'm going to give you an option, and depending on which you take is what information you can potentially get. You can either make a standard medicine check, or I will allow you to make a lightsaber intellect check.
I will go with lightsaber intellect.
Excellent. Let's do it. Yeah. We're going to make it a difficulty of 2.
Okay. Let's see what we get. 2 successes.
Hey, very nice. Very nice. So, looking over this, what you can gather relatively quickly from the angle of the wound itself is that it seems like this was a precision blow for sure. This wasn't during a scuffle or a fight. This is a perfectly straight through and through wound, which tells you that there probably was no defense put up. Assuming he wasn't, just allowing it to happen, it was very likely a surprise attack. And I think that with a little bit of handling, you can also tell that it was very likely done from the back, because the entry wounds are just slightly more flattened out than the exit wounds are from a lightsaber.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, new 10. What do you see?
I guess I would attempt to inspect this as best I could. I imagine. I think this is the first time, like, Newton's maybe been around bodies in this kind of like clinical like setting. I think, but I will attempt to kind of follow what my master has done in the inspection and see if I can put that together for myself and see if I can. I think in particular, Newton is thinking about the conversation, if you will, with her friend in which she saw a shadowy figure and smelled sweet rot. And as a Jawa, smell is very important, and I think she's definitely trying to see if that smell is here and if it's like evoking something from the vision of her foreseeing something.
Love that. Okay. I'm going to ask you to make me a perception, but I'm also going to ask you to roll me a force die with it.
Okay. All right. So my perception bloop, 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 is pretty good. I'll get 2 of the yellow die and 1 green because I have 2 ranks in that. So bloop, 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 and then 1 force die. Okay, and then how many should I add for the
We're going to make this a difficulty of 3.
difficulty of 3? Okay, and that is 3 purple.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, we're rolling. Okay, I got
Interesting.
success, threat, light side. I think, yes? That's
Yeah.
my correct interpretation? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you look over this body. And like you said, it's probably the first time you've ever experienced something like this, especially this clinically. And you sort of open your senses, both physical and spiritual. And for a moment, you're not even really sure what you're looking for. But you see the wound, and you feel something. It's like your friend is guiding you, gently putting their hand on yours and steering you where they want your focus, where they want you to be aware, what they want you to see, what they want you to feel. And you can begin to smell the lingering scent of sweet decay, again, just barely, under the sterilized, clean air that fills this room. It teases at your senses. And then, as though out of nowhere, the professor's eyes open, shifting to you. His mouth opens and shadow rolls from it. What do you do?
I think I try to do. I think I try to call on my friend to be like, keep the shadows at bay. Like, I've been tapping into something maybe I shouldn't, and maybe this is the problems of that, and I haven't told anyone. And so I think immediately I'm like, stop it, stop. So I think I'm just sending whatever energy I can towards like, keep it in the body, push it back in.
You reach out calling for your friend to help. And at first what you're met with is different. It's continuing to guide you forward, pushing you towards it, telling you to accept what you're seeing, accept what you're being given. But that falls away fairly quickly, and you snap to attention. The corpse remains on the table, unmoving, unflinching, eyes closed, mouth closed. Doesn't seem like it's moved at all. And that scent of rot seems to have fallen away.
Oh boy.
Master, I see the wound. It's clearly done by a lightsaber. These look like they're done by professional. She's just clearly out of sorts. But she's like professionally cleanly done, Master. Yes. Yes. Kind of like starts to step away.
Just stay silent and watch. Wait, Kesh, what do you think?
Waycash will go and examine the body, looking it over. I think compared to the others, and maybe it's because of his role, he'll kind of actually like basically look at like the interior of the hole, kind of like check the burning on the clothes and stuff, and I believe that you are quite correct, Newton. The wound came from behind. This most likely was a surprise, and he's gonna kind of like look up his like arms and stuff, basically looking for defensive bruising, like that kind of thing. And I'm sure he finds nothing.
Yeah, no, there doesn't seem to be any defensive bruising. There's no damage to any of the fingers or the arms. Nothing that suggests that there was a scuffle at all.
Are there
However-
any other wounds at all that are visible?
No.
No, okay.
I want to ask a little bit of a strange question. Are you, sorry, Zach, do you want to say something?
Nope.
Okay, you look poised to say something. Okay.
No, I'm ready to respond.
Oh, do you want to respond?
Yeah,
To me?
To you. Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's not that crazy. Lion, I know the bodies are in here. Are there personal effects in here that were on the bodies as well? Like separately?
They are not, but you can absolutely request them if you'd like.
I would
And
like
they
to
can
do
be-
that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you what do you say to the captain is your only like point of contact here at the moment, who I know is probably not your favorite person.
No, he's not my favorite person.
We're also going to be going to their studio after this. It's just this was the stopover. So
Yeah.
I just want to see what was on their bodies when they found them in case anything is not in the apartment that should be was here or vice versa. I don't know how to phrase this politely
Oh, good. We
'Cause I
love hearing
think
that.
because I agree. I don't think that they would have any interest in speaking to them with any form of respect. And I think it would be like a very flat, almost you could sense that she's trying not to be rude, but just
Mhm.
ask, I need to see their things.
We can have
Wait.
those.
Yeah, Waycash would say, we need to see their things.
We need to see their things.
There was a moment where the captain, who was reaching for his comm, stops for a moment, and there's a almost wry smirk from the correction. And he goes, "That can be arranged. I'll have them brought." And then he pulls out his comm and will, after reading off sort of a string of numbers, then request the personal effects.
He'll
Yeah.
Waycash will gesture to Lumira to like come over closer.
And when you go to step like into the captain takes another step back to sort of give you a wide berth as you.
You'll
He's
have to
afraid
let
of me, I
know-
get it.
You'll have to fill me in on what happened between you and our associate here after. And then he gestures down and he says, "Do you have any experience with things that may result in a man having a lightsaber shoved through his chest?"
Just need to tell you, the feral urge to say, besides me doing it myself, was so high, but I do not want to go back to prison. Won't survive. Some. Not in the way that this seems to have occurred.
No defensive wounds, so either the person who did this was incredibly talented or it was a surprise. He gestures to the broken neck of the curator and says, more than likely there was a second.
Are we assuming that it was the curators, or are we assuming someone attacked an unarmed person?
Hard to say with what we have. However, without checking the other body first, we won't know if this was a surprise attack or not. We also need to check the scene of the crime. See what we can establish.
Assuming they haven't messed with too much evidence by going in and out of there themselves. Yes, but I don't really trust their expertise in keeping a crime scene the way it was when they found it.
We're not here to solve a crime. We're just here to absolve ourselves of sin.
But where's the justice in that?
Justice comes after. Everybody has a different system.
Theirs is throwing innocent people in jail. So
Ease yourself. Let's see what we find first.
there's like a moment where she like takes a deep breath, closes her eyes as to not roll them very directly and bluntly, and kind of gets a mask of, sure, whatever you say. Like, I'm being complicit. I'm not going to argue. I said I wouldn't argue. I said I would be good. Fine.
Right now, as far as we know, you're absolved. That's what matters to me at the moment. We find out what happens next. We go from there.
We look at the stuff. We look at the scene.
Yes, let's not jump ahead.
After a few moments, a few minutes rather, a soldier comes by and delivers on like a wheeled cart a series of bagged items. And then the captain.
Hang on, Lion.
Yes.
Looks like we are missing our closed captions, or we were for a moment there.
Oh.
They're back in.
Okay.
They're lagging.
They are lagging a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we take half a moment and we can all reload and see if maybe that will help. Thank you for pointing it out. Sorry, y'all, fighting with some tech gremlins. Give us a moment.
That's all right. We got this.
Yep. Am I back? I'm back. I think I'm back. Cool.
Let's see stream run, and then we'll pull it up in a second. Yep, they're good.
Cool.
You're running
Let's
fine.
do it. All right. Okay. Cool. So after a few minutes, the cart comes by and the captain sort of pokes his head in, and he goes, as requested. He motions towards it, and they move the cart into the room, but not all the way over to you. Before the soldier is dismissed, the captain then steps in and will move it the rest of the way. Go. This is everything that they had on them. There wasn't much, which I suppose is not the most surprising, considering Professor Banferqual was at home. Although there was a distinct lack of credits to be found on Curator Krull.
Do any of the items, like, is there anything that just kind of sticks out as unusual, or?
There's nothing particularly strange. You see the data pad for Curator Krull, along with what seems like a set of like old school like metal keys, like on a key ring. He has a couple of papers on him, like old, like classic paper, like parchment. And besides that, there really isn't anything else. Whether the parchment stands out to you is entirely up to you, but it is something you don't see particularly often, and it's the second time you're already seeing here.
I think Waycash would want to read that. He'd want to pick it up and at least take a look.
Sure. Immediately upon... Here's what I'm going to need from you, Way. I'm going to check something on your sheet very quickly. Great. Okay. So, here's what we're going to say. I would like you to roll me just your intellect, I think.
Just intellect?
Just intellect.
Any
We're going to
difficulty?
say it's a difficulty of 1.
Okay.
I think it's relatively simple for you. I'm
Purple.
not sure what would play.
It's just with the
into
green
it.
dice then, right?
Yeah, it's just green dice and 1 purple die.
Let's see. That is 2 advantages and 1 success.
Okay. So looking over these papers, you notice almost immediately. It's not writing like you would. It's not like a letter or anything. It seems to be like part of a rubbing. Made with classic like charcoal or something similar. For anyone who may not be aware, this is something that is done fairly often when you're dealing with like carving or other intricate like textured object when you're trying to replicate what's on it.
Graves.
It's certainly not complete. There are portions of it, but what really stands out to you is there are a couple of symbols scattered throughout what look like a like masculine figure beset among like dying trees. But there are a couple of characters that stand out to you almost immediately. This is an old lost language that you've seen a few times before, known as Urkitat. It is
Sorry, what's that?
Urkitat. UR hyphen KITAT. I believe I'm spelling that correctly. Boy, I hope so. Yes, KITTAT, Urkitat. It is an ancient language that you've seen a few times in other artifacts that you've been around. Primarily things that you've had personal experiences with. I'm purposefully being just a tad vague, but I hope you are picking up what I'm putting down.
Well, this might be something to look into. He looks at the keys then after that.
Sure.
Quick question. Which body was that note found on?
The curator.
The curator?
The curator, correct, yes.
The curator may have enjoyed his classics, or whatever these were is old, and saving them digitally might have been less optional.
So as for the keys, it seems like it's just a set of keys. They look like they still see use. There are bits of them that are sort of like worn away at a little bit. They're not
Like,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's like a museum key ring, like where it's like
Yeah.
different like boxes and stuff for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange for somewhere like here where there is a lot of newer technology, especially in the last 50 or 60 years. But yeah, it does seem like it's probably just what you would expect on a planet that didn't have such a heavy reliance on technology.
I think he'll hand he would hand Veldin the parchment first. A slight like note of like almost passe or disgust at the image, just like indifference. Not indifference, but like distaste for it.
Take a look.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you roll me.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's also gonna be an intellect. Just a straight intellect. You know what? Actually, for you, I'm gonna let you do a xenology for it.
Okay. Yeah, I can
feels
do that.
good. But we are gonna give you a bit of a higher difficulty. We're gonna put this difficulty at 3.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Everything canceled out.
Well, that's not good or bad. It's just
could be worse. That's very, very funny. That's so unlikely.
It is. especially with that many dice for it to perfect out cancel it like that. That's
okay. I'm gonna say that there's nothing you really pick up from here. Yeah.
They're just gonna be like interesting and just kind of tuck it away.
yeah. Why does he hate paper so much?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's old, but you know.
As the paper, as you're tucking the paper away, can I, and like kind of standing near, do I see if it's like it was folded or if it was brought, like, you know, is this a like,
there are some creases in it, yes.
Okay. Which I feel like Nu would kind of squint at, because it like the idea of like thinking back to her past and the idea of like quick notes and quick exchanges and stuff like that. That's what that feels more like, as opposed to like, here's some quick information that I'm trying to get to you, as opposed to here is like official museum thing that I want to bring and present. And I think Nu is kind of like, why this information. I don't know what this is, but it feels like some kind of information.
I think Valden would like start to just kind of tuck it away at his belt, but then kind of like noticing Nu Ten's interest, kind of like stop and like just hand it to Nu Ten.
Yeah, I'll take it, and I think I'll take it for further examination later. But I'll tuck it away for now.
Sure. Absolutely.
Are they fine with us taking that, or like should we scan it in? Like,
I will say that when you go to, like, when Valden went to initially tuck it away, the captain didn't seem to say anything about it. It doesn't seem like he had any issue he did have, he didn't vocalize. I think it's safe to say that the captain is learning relatively quickly that you're going to do the things you're going to do, and he's still dealing with a lot. He's still got a lot that he's figuring out at once. It's tough for him. He's
forgot about that. Kind of forgot about that. Not gonna lie.
He's just low key going through an entire crisis right now. It's fine.
Did was there anything else that we wanted to look at here, or should we go to the scene?
It's up to you.
One thing.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can find out where the credits went.
Interesting. How would you like to do that?
I don't know how computers work. I mean, I don't. LC doesn't. I didn't put any. I have a career little dot thing, but I did not put any skill points in it. Because who would have thought in a sci-fi game I'd need to use a computer?
So are you? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I guess like whatever like kind of backlog tracer situation that I could potentially use on the data pad, or like I don't,
to see like if these creds are logged and if they were spent anywhere.
You said he had a lack, or if a lack of credits in his account, or if they were transferred to somebody else's account,
like physically on him. So there are like cred sticks,
okay,
that function similar to like cash.
Okay.
And he didn't have any on him.
Okay.
And while it's not strange that Banferqual, the professor, didn't have any because he was at home, usually it's a little odd for someone to be walking around, especially on a planet like Onderon, where there's just so much market and so many places that cred can be spent, to just not have any like cash on them whatsoever.
If it is possible to see, I mean, they don't have like your name on them, do they?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah, so if they were physical, then I don't think there would be a way for me to trace it. Then I was thinking like account.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should put points in computer.
It's a good line of thinking, though. I'm sure it will come up again later.
So put points in computer.
Hint, hint.
Anyway, so yeah, unless there's anything else anyone wants to do, the captain will push that cart to the side and go, from here, do you want us to continue to hold the bodies in case they need more inspection, or can we have them processed and dealt with? There is no immediate family, so no need to worry for anyone crying or calling for them to be immediately released.
I'd request that the bodies stay on ice for a little bit longer, just in case we find something that appears odd.
Yes, agreed. Just bear with us a bit longer while we check the scene.
Not a problem. I can have you escorted to Professor Banferqual's home if you would like.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, there is no digital records. The cameras surrounding the complex had a bit of a technical issue.
Did they now?
They did.
Interesting.
We are looking into it.
Are there any cameras within the area leading there that might be beneficial to look in? Just widening the scope. I'm sure you've done this more. I'm just curious myself.
Perhaps there are. Aziz is a large city. There is quite a bit of surveillance to ensure peace is kept, especially within more raucous areas like the markets. If you'd like, we can pour through that data, or I can have it sent to you and you can peruse it at your desire. I will warn it is quite a bit.
Please have it sent to us. I'd like to scrub through myself.
Certainly, I will have that done. Would you like all of the data from the city, or are there particular portions of the city you would prefer? Quadrants?
Just the streets leading to where the camera died out.
Say a perhaps 2-block radius.
Two-block
If we can
radius.
narrow it down from there, we can go back further.
Certainly, that can be arranged. I'll put in the request, and hopefully you'll have it sent by the end of the day.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Now,
Before
unless there's anything you need from me. Wonderful. I do have
No.
a job to get back to, but if you need me at any point, please feel free to contact me. We should be tied on comms at this point. You can also request me from any, virtually anyone, any military police that you see walking on the
Might
streets. you
I-
can be able to contact.
Might I make a request, actually?
Yes.
This might actually be a little bit easier on you. Could we please request a point of contact for more menial things? I doubt everything that we have to say will be important enough to bring it right up to the higher up, but just
Yes.
basic requests.
yes, the lieutenant Vulcan, the lieutenant who was on watch, that'd be a very good point of contact to have for us, and maybe to come escort us to the location as well, since that person was there.
Waycash kind of like leans into his cane, not really understanding this sudden forceful nature from Newton. Like being like, "What are you on, little one?" Like,
Certainly not the only one who seems a bit surprised by this request. And for a moment, Captain Jop sort of. Well, I don't suppose they're doing anything more important. Yes, I can ensure that is. Yes, why not?
Excellent.
we thank you again. He just kind of like keeps on looking at Newton as he says it. Wait, now that I'm realizing there's no facial expression there, it's just
Yeah,
Newt's
just
scary
this.
mask.
Yeah. I think you see the eyes like kind of narrowing a little bit and then widening upon being like, oh wait, idea, and then kind of
Yeah.
like
Well, I
Like-
got my scary squid cat visor thing going on. There's like no facial you can't even see my eyes.
Eyes glow a little bit brighter.
Wonderful. Okay. So you are brought out from this room and out of the sort of like barracks in their entirety, back into the open air of Onderon. Unless there's anything specific that anyone wanted to do before leaving this particular place.
I think
Nope.
I was like, New would have just thrown a look back at the body on the table. That opened its eyes. That opened his eyes.
Yeah, there's
Just-
that sort of like pregnant pause as you almost wait for it to happen again. But nothing.
I'll walk out.
So, the group of you are escorted out, and so sorry. Okay, I'm here. The group of you are escorted out, and it only takes a few minutes before the lieutenant arrives. And there is a moment where sort of I know for you it is not so much your eyes meet because it's just the glowing, but there is that moment of sort of like, and then just sort of a pause as they look over the group.
And a quick moment, like above table. We have not, like, this lieutenant was with us. I was trying to go off of the conversation I had with my new friend that I made about the one who had been positioned there. And had that person been with us when we initially were kind of brought? When you
were brought to the barracks, he was there. He did not engage with any of you.
Yes. Okay.
Is that the one with the dark aura?
Yeah.
The kind of like remnants of something that had been dark nearby. I think I would try to just completely keep blank.
And I think as he sort of like looks over the group of you, there's a moment where you sense that again, that remnant. And with him here and this close, it's a little easier to recognize that it doesn't seem to be him exactly that it's coming off of. It's hard really to tell exactly what or where. I'm going to ask, do you have sense?
I just picked up basic sense. I was like, I have XP, and so I just picked up the basic sense level.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, cool. Just something to keep in mind. Do you want to roll for me? Do you want to use your sense to try and target in on this?
I think so. Yes, I will attempt.
Awesome. What's your force rating?
It is a force rating of 2.
Wonderful. Why don't you roll me 2 force die? You just have the base power, right?
Yes, just the base power.
Excellent.
Oh! Sorry, that was too dark side, folks. Sorry.
I knew.
Right. The dive out of the way startled me. I was like, oh no.
I'm so sorry. I got scared.
That'll do that to you.
Yeah.
So, you have 2 options of how to use force dutes, for lack of a better term, with the basic power. You can choose not to use any if you'd like. Do you want to use some of the dark side?
Oh. Do I? I mean, I purposefully tried to get this person on so I could get a reading of this person as we're going to, like, back to the places. So I think New is feeling very unsteady, especially after the vision with the body. But is feeling like I'm already kind of going down this way, and I need to commit now. At least to figure out more until we can figure out this case, and then. So I think, I will spend one of those 2.
Wonderful.
See if I can sense anything.
Yeah. So you reach out, hoping that your friend will guide you again. But this time, as you do, immediately it's like you are gripped, pushed forward, dragged almost. Not in a physical sense, of course, but in a much more visceral way. You can feel your focus being forcibly steered towards his belt. And you can very faintly hear voices talking. It's not clear enough for you to be able to discern what they're saying. But it seems almost like a bit of a casual conversation. Under it, though, you can feel malicious intent. The barest wisps of it. And for a moment, it doesn't feel bad. After all, manipulation can be a very powerful tool towards finding answers, towards getting what you want. Sometimes people don't want to share, so you have to guide them properly. Nu, can you tell us about a time in your life where maybe you had to gently guide someone properly to get something, or to get yourself in or out of a situation?
Yeah, actually, it's just coming to mind because one of the first force powers I think I chose for Nu was influence. And I think she goes back to a time when she was younger with her father, um, working in the kind of scavenger, you know, vehicle as we're moving around. And we were in a pretty tight spot, needing to get some sales out. And we were talking with some folks in town who weren't as amenable to trading with Jawa at the time. And in that kind of dire straits of like, we need to make this sale now, or it's not going to be, great for us. We might not have, um, dinner tonight kind of vibe. I think Nu it reached out and used that influence for maybe the first time to guide those people to make a trade on what Nu knew was a pretty crappy piece of scavenged material. Yeah.
And there's a moment where it's hard not to make the comparison between how much easier it can be sometimes to steer people where you need them, as opposed to the gentle guiding hand that your friend usually offers and suggests, that your master usually offers and suggests, where you let them sort of find their way to giving you what you want. It's not nearly as consistent or easy or successful. You know that there's something that this lieutenant has on him. That is where this residue is emanating from.
But it's not something I can see.
If you would like to spend your second dark side point, you might be able to pinpoint it.
I think I'm gonna hold off. I think she's gonna try to push back and be like, I have a team. We can maybe figure out more. But I think that's gonna linger in the back of her mind, and she's just gonna be like laser focused and like following right behind this lieutenant, watching that belt to see if she can, just keeping eyes on that.
Wonderful. So, the lieutenant, I think, notices that you are your focus is lingering on him for a moment. And you see the brow sort of arch, and then he looks at the rest of you and he goes, are they okay? Everything fine? Everything good? They good?
Yes, I just really like your belt. I'm sorry.
Huh.
Did you get it locally?
I mean, it's just part of the uniform.
Oh, okay. I'll have to. Yes, thank you. We'll try to like maneuver back and away.
So, I heard I was requested. And there's a moment where, um, Lumira, his gaze sort of stops on you, and there's an immediate just wave of sort of ick.
I love what it just said on the
What did it say?
the captions. His gaze.
Hey. Yes.
Sorry, totally ruined the flow. But
Oh no, that made it better. Actually, it made it better because I'm absolutely made it better. Like, what kind of ick? Like, what's the vibe of this ick? Because there's like several kinds of ick. Either way, I think their eyes would like narrow, like ever so slightly, not obviously, like sizing them up, but like trying to figure out what I recognize about him and why he would be looking at me like this and why I would get this vibe.
So I don't think you've had much interaction with him. But
Okay.
you've probably overheard him talking to some of the other MP while you were waiting to be picked up. And I think you will be able to register pretty quickly exactly the kind of ick. He has a very like bro vibe about him. There's that very gross sort of alpha male energy that he brings with him. Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot we were told that.
Immediate need to fight him.
Yeah, it's pretty clear what he has convinced himself has happened here. Yeah.
Oh, so he thinks I did it.
He does indeed think you did it. Yes.
He's stupid. That's what he is. All right.
When you're right, you're right.
I feel like I'm trying to think of if there's something that I can do to make him think that he's caught me in some kind of like, oh, see, she totally did it. But in the end, he's going to look more stupid.
While,
But oh, go
while
ahead.
that interaction is going on, Valden's just going to kind of step behind Lumira and look at the lieutenant and go, "Indeed you were," and give a wink. And then walk off.
And then there's like the smallest like twitch of the corner of her lip upward, like the smallest of smirks, and be like, and walk off.
There's a moment where you can see him having to process information. Just that quick like eyes darting as he sort of refocuses, and then he looks over and he goes, "Yeah, okay. I mean, let's take a walk then, I guess." And he sort of like stretches and he sort of falls into step Valden next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And as the group of you begin being guided towards the residential building where Professor Bonfarquelle lived, he will sort of strike up conversation with you. A lot of what he goes into is the sort of bravado you would expect from someone like this who also happens to have a badge.
Of course.
You know, a lot of how he's, put a lot of work into keeping the streets safe, and you never know what kind of stuff you're going to run into. So many things going on at any given time. But, it's lucky that they have him and that he's been able to keep eyes, especially on this area. Not sure what happened that, what led to this unfortunate series of events, but he's sure it was something that couldn't have happened if he was around at the time. Must have been
Of course.
off on the other side of his route.
But also, just to point out, we got to hydrate, so make sure you.
Oh, we do. Yes, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, X.
So, which is good because he seems pretty thirsty.
Apparently.
Not picky, just thirsty. Let's go. So you arrive, and it's this very like there's this interesting blend of architecture here as you sort of reach the grounds. There's like a bit of a fenced area. It's like stone worked fencing that's been carved around the exterior. It's not particularly high. It's clearly more of an aesthetic choice than it is for any sort of protection. There's a courtyard past this like stone arch, and beyond that is this large series of apartments. It's in a sort of what I'm going to use as a California style, where the apartments are outward, the doors are outward facing. There are like walkways that go around, so you step out of your home like onto one of these like platforms, and you can then go around to the stairwell to get down to the like main area and then exit from there. It's easy. On the second floor, you can see one of the places has been sort of like cordoned off. There are like warning holograms put up around it, and the door is, you assume, still open, but there is a like tarp hanging over the entrance. And he's like, yeah, you want me to walk you up into? I don't have a problem. We could go up. I could, I'm off in like 30 minutes if you want to grab a drink and see what happens.
It very well may happen.
The captain sent this guy at the end of his shift? What an asshole. That's worse than somebody coming and ordering 5 minutes before close. Jeez.
To be fair, it was like a 20-minute walk. He had like an hour, more or less. But I will also point out that it is established canonically that at least some people on the Force do not like him. So take it as you will.
There you go. So let's have a look around, everyone. See what we can find.
On the way that we've been going, Way's just been like also just keeping track on like spotting camera locations.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna ask you to roll or anything. There are a lot of cameras scattered throughout. They're not hidden. There's no subtlety with it whatsoever. It's clear that they want the people to know they're being kept an eye on. Cameras are still relatively like thick and wide, set up on like the underhangs of like jutted out portions of buildings. There are literally like poles that have been erected that just have cameras sitting on top. The history of Onderon and IZ specifically as a military like planet is one that they still lean into heavily now. There's no secret that they want everyone to be aware, especially as they've opened and become such a large trade hub now, that they want people very clearly aware of the level of security and information that is constantly being wielded here.
I'll be Lieutenant, if you wouldn't mind keeping an eye out here in case the perpetrator or any of their associates return. I'm sure you will make an accounting of yourself.
And immediately his hand comes up and rests on the pistol at his hip. And he goes, yeah, I can do that. That's easy,
And then head on in.
Sure. Is anyone sticking around outside, or is everyone heading into the apartment?
Are there windows?
I'm sorry, Katelynn, you're very, very quiet.
Sorry. Are there windows?
There is what looks to be like one outward facing window for each of the like apartments. They have these like metal like bracketed slots that sit over each other, almost like almost like a bisected screen, kind of.
I asked because I think New would want to keep an eye on the lieutenant, specifically because we're like wandering around the scene of the crime, and basically wants to watch for any reaction. Like,
Sure.
but if there's not a good vantage point, then I think New would kind of quickly skim inside, but then maybe like troll in and out.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, you can do that. Yeah, because like from like when you exit the apartment, just from that platform right there, you can like see him out down by the front. So if you want to like, yeah, you can be in and out, keeping an eye on him for sure. I will tell you just up front, almost as soon as he perceives that y'all are out of eye shot, he is like on his data pad just scrolling. Just immediately, there is no focus whatsoever. You come out back onto like the and are looking at him, doesn't even realize that there's been movement.
Yeah, and I think New is like very like creep, doing the creep and like looking out and like being secretive, and then just seeing that this person really doesn't care, like still will come back and do the thing, but is like wondering now if maybe this was really the reason that this all happened, because so and so was scrolling, and that was that was it. That was the extent of the darkness.
I think Wei, not knowing about this darkness, goes, New, this cannot be the type of man that you're infatuated with, is it?
Just complete like flare up in the eyes. No.
Just
no.
odd is all I'm saying. You request the man and then you stare at him from a window.
I must speak to you all. I'm sorry. And it's just us in this place, right? There's no other people lingering, no guards or anything like that who were keeping watch over the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In that case, I think you see for Lumira then, Wei stretches and readjusts the cane and just starts walking normally.
What? Are you serious?
About Nu Tu telling us what's going on? Yes, quite serious.
One question at a time.
Master, I'm sorry, and like we'll fully focus on Master Valdon in this moment. It only says I have been seeing since our travels here. Darkness, Master. I tried to focus and speak with with the Force, and I saw a shadowy figure standing. There was the smell of sweet rot. I could feel it guiding me, leading me, and then on the table, the body of the professor opened his eyes, and shadows were pouring forth, and that person points out darkness belt talking to each other. There's something there, Master, and I'm so sorry. I feel I've been fraternizing with the dark side. I'm scared that I can't tell if I am envisioning that those who committed this crime were from the dark side, or if I am being I'm sorry, Master, and just like completely like shrinks down.
Padawan, calm yourself. There's nothing to worry about. Dark side is tempting. It's simply learning how to control those temptations and to control your feelings. It's about having a bit of discipline. Do not worry.
Way will actually speak up at this point and be like, tell me about these eyes. Because
Yes.
right at the end of the last session, Way was spotted as well.
The eyes of the professor, they opened on the table.
Maybe I misunderstood what you meant.
There was a figure. I don't. Do I recall if I saw eyes in my first vision of this figure that was saying red eyes, right?
Yep.
And I think we'll go. There were in my very first vision on the ship. I did see the figure. The dark figure had red eyes. Is that something that you saw, Master Way?
Yes, actually, today, when I was looking for who the saber had originally belonged to. I've lost my notes. I believe it was a Bish.
It was a Biff, yeah.
A Bith, that's it. Because I misheard it and thought you said bitch. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about
Bellamir Vadric, Master Bellamir Vadric, a Biff.
I saw a Bith who had been killed. Who I believe to have been killed, I should say, was the original owner of that saber. And then eyes as well. It's disconcerting, but it's not necessarily something that... Don't let it pull you in.
Of course. I think I let fear motivate me. And as Master Valden told me before we left, even, it is the easy path, but easier at a cost. And I would do well to remember that.
Way holds for a second, thinking back on something his master says. He goes, fear is a good motivator for survival, but a poor companion for meditation.
Yes.
I never was good at meditation.
That's
Do not fear.
Practice.
Fear is a natural response. It is simply learning to manage your fear.
Tries to take like a calming breath. I do think that the lieutenant must have something, even peripherally, to do with this, has had some contact with whatever dark figures may have been involved with this saber. There was something on the belt, which is why I kept looking at it, but I felt the pull, and I didn't want to continue following it, so I stopped. But I do think there's something on that individual that might lead us to whatever dark presence is on the other side.
You mean the lieutenant?
Yes, I don't think the lieutenant is directly involved per se, but there was a talking, there was a speaking near the bell. I think maybe in communication, or did speak with the person involved, or that's just a thought.
Yeah.
As this is happening, Lumira, you approach the apartment along with the rest of them, correct?
Yeah.
And as they are having their discourse, you feel compulsion. As you stand at the door to this place, something tugs at you, like it's ushering you forward. Everything seems to sort of drown out around you, except for this heavy thrumming, like a steady bass. Maybe your heartbeat. For a moment, everything besides that door, that apartment, is just darkness. There's something there for you. You felt this a few times before in your life. How far you've gone towards following it is entirely up to you. But every time it's been followed by something bad happening. And you're snapped out of it as you hear an echoed commotion coming from the entrance to the complex. A shouting voice and a patronizing response recognizable as your lieutenant escort. Glancing over, you see what looks to be a younger, probably early 20s Iktochi with sort of like peach skin and short, deeply curved downward-facing horns. And they're shouting about being let in. They keep going, they're here. I know they're here. I heard they're here. I have to speak with them. They have to know. So, last we left off, there was quite a ruckus going on, as our Jedi Master and Knight had an interesting conversation going with one of the respective Padwans. Well, the other seemed to have something else going on. All of this, however, is interrupted by the loud noises coming out from the courtyard of the complex. And as we get back, where do we see the group of you? What is everyone doing?
It depends. Do we hear the struggle as well? Is this just a Lumira thing?
No, I think you can all hear it. It's very loud, and because of the design of the buildings, it echoes off of everywhere. So everyone's hearing this business.
My career is guardian, so like I'm moving in.
Follow along.
The way the dark was calling me is the opposite of the voice, correct?
Yes, it's calling you into the apartment.
Okay, so I think that when this shakes Lumira from that kind of like hone in kind of thing, it would take more than a minute to reorient and like figure out what is going on and then hesitate, almost want to go towards what was calling her more, and then decide, no, we decided we were going to run from that, not go towards it. And hesitantly, I don't think she would rush in. I have to like remind myself I'm not playing a Russian character right now. Behind everyone else, just kind of like observe, just in case it's something, just because she has that gut feeling something's going to go wrong.
Sure. Nu, are you also going with?
Yeah, I think if I heard something outside, Nu's immediate thought would be like, oh gosh, something's happening to the lieutenant, and like the dark people about, like, just I think that focus would be like, panic. I need to go outside and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And as the group of you approach, you can hear more of this shouting. And the Iktochi is, as you get sort of within like visual range, just sort of shouting at the lieutenant. And she goes, just because the group of you are too stupid to be willing to listen to what I have to say doesn't mean that they're not going to be interested in reality. And the lieutenant sort of has his hands up and is trying to like, I'm not touching you, but I'm trying to lead you away from here because this is not where you need to be. And when it's very clear that she sees you, her eyes go wide, and just like she goes, hey, can we have you're the Jedi, right? You're here doing Jedi shit. Can we please have a conversation? And he's just like look, you gotta go. We gotta just, this is not, they're busy. You don't have
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes. Yep.
We'll speak to them.
You waste your time in whatever way you feel is necessary. And
Indeed.
as he sort of like rolls his eyes and he leans back against that like stone arch and is already back on his data pad as she walks past, sort of hissing curses under her breath. And she walks up to the group of you and stops and just is like, I'm right? You're the Jedi, right? They sent you to figure this shit out because they couldn't.
Well,
Not necessarily that they couldn't, but it's definitely
Oh,
we're here.
trust me,
at the
they
moment,
couldn't.
you know.
If they could, they wouldn't have wanted you here. Please believe me.
I'm sorry, I don't believe I caught your name.
I'm Ja Randar. You may have heard of me, maybe. I don't know. I get around. It's fine. Here's a question: are any of you particularly into like historical fiction?
Let me double check. I believe my lore is high.
let's
Got a 4 in lore, and it's a career skill.
see.
So
I have a little bit of lore.
I think I might be Lori as well.
oh wait, yeah, obviously, at least here. I just realized that he's like, yeah, I know about all this stuff. This is something we've established about Way.
So I will leave it entirely up to y'all if anyone is into that, like like I said, like historical fiction. Entirely up to you. Doesn't have to be. Could be. It doesn't have to be tied to your stats. It's entirely whatever y'all would like.
I guess my question is about the fiction, because I
Yeah.
feel like New would end up getting a lot of like scrap stuff. Is this like fiction that would end up in somebody's bin or recycle?
Yes,
You know,
actually,
the recycled
I think
novels.
New for sure 100% has heard
Okay.
of Ja before. I think we can
Okay.
confidently say that. Yeah.
I think that Waycash would know about this. I'm making a character decision right
I
now.
love that. Yeah.
That I think he's a bit of a book nerd.
We have
Sure.
something in common.
You're muted, Elsie.
Oh, Elsie, you're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. What I was saying, okay, well, now I've been called out.
This is a linking Way to Zach option.
This was a Waycash reads romance novels confirmed situation.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
We love that. We love to see it.
Bless. All right, noting that.
For anyone who would maybe be aware, so Ja is in fact a not super well known author of historical trash fiction, for lack of a better term. But like one thing that I think anyone who does read her novels would be aware of is that while the plots are paper thin, because they are not the focus, she does tend to have a surprising amount of historical accuracy. It's just usually pretty dry and in the background because the focus is on the relationships between the characters involved.
Space Danielle Steele.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That is all. That is legitimately who came to mind when I was writing.
I have this image of like a cover with like a shirtless Gamorrean.
Uh-huh. 100% exactly it. Yeah. Y'all get it. Yeah, and how you may feel about her writing is entirely up to you. But yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar.
It's
Nothing like
Davis.
no like tone, just like that's how he says it.
As you say that, there's a moment where all of the like energy sort of settles for her. And she goes, "Well, it's always good to meet a fan. That's nice. What's your favorite? Which one's your favorite?"
Let me.
That's okay. It can be hard to choose. It's fine. Just you think
I
on, and
imagine
she
it's
reaches out and she like puts a hand on your arm and goes, "Just you think it through. You let me know. It's fine. Well, just no pressure."
Pauses and goes, and like just like quietly just goes, "Stars Under Fire."
It's one of my favorites too. It's a good choice.
Only the Jedi. Sorry. It's a clan favorite. It's yes. Duh. I'm hi.
Hi.
Sorry. Business.
Yes. Could we and she like looks back and you can see the dirty look that she throws at the lieutenant, who again already gone scrolling social feeds, couldn't care less. Now that he's turned it over to you again. And she's like, "Could we go maybe have a conversation somewhere, because this is you are here to figure this out, right? Like that's the whole like that's your whole thing, right? Like that's why you're here, right? I'm not."
I think that Wei will lean back to Veldin and go, "Do we want to take a statement, but some of us also go check out the apartment?"
I think that would be the best course of action.
When you say that, she literally like links her arm around yours, Way, and goes, "That sounds like a great idea. We can talk about, you can take my statement, we can talk about favorite books," and she'll also kind of like put an arm around you, New, unless you like stop her, and is literally going to kind of walk the two of you off as she continues going on about how it'll be a great time.
Wei is so in shock on this that like she has grabbed his caned hand and he just has to walk normally.
New is vibrating, just completely like. Ah!
Valdin's gonna head in and start taking a look at the apartment while.
Sure. Lumira, what about you?
Sorry, I was supposed to be a very important facial expression in this. Definitely going back inside. Like I don't want to be anywhere near this person.
Yeah.
I hate my master and everything he represents.
Oh no, not you, her or them. I don't know. Her.
Yeah.
That's a lot of like pressure to like something and to engage in something that Lumira I don't think has any interest in. And physical contact of just like they are very, very in personal space, and I'm not. There's more interesting stuff to do than speak with this author, who I have vaguely heard of enough to know that it's worth giving my master a funny fucking look.
Love that. Yeah, so Valdin, Lumira, the two of you return to the apartment. Lumira, you still there's just a little bit of that sort of pounding in the back of your head as you get back into the apartment. As though this is where you have to be. This is where you want to be. But as the two of you enter, you push the tarp aside and you enter the apartment. It's a relatively simple place. It's immediately made very clear that it wasn't intended to be a long-term residence. This is somewhere he's probably only planned to be here for a couple of years at most. It looks more like, the majority of it at least, looks more like it was a place to lay your head when not off doing the rest of the, working and living your life.
Right.
However, there is near the end of the entrance foyer / hallway, what looks like a dining table, and a bunch of things surrounding it, small little tchotchkes, what have you, have been sort of knocked over. There are a few books strewn about the floor still, and there is a few small flecks of what you assume to be blood staining the floor. Not much. It's most likely from when the professor fell here, because with a saber, even as the wounds are sealed, sometimes it gets a little, yeah. You also see that there is a Valden, I think you're the first to notice a piece of charcoal sort of knocked off into a corner. And one thing you also both notice as you enter is that the pad from the inside for the door is completely blasted out, as though shot by laser fire.
I think Lumira's the pounding and the heartbeat never fully subsided, even throughout that entire interaction after they left. And it was just like you said, more not numbed, but dulled. But now, even though I think in the past you said that I could say how much or how little she had given into it in the past. I think the first few times that this has happened, that she fully followed it head on, ran towards it. Bad things happened, and then since then she's been trying to resist it and run the other direction, even though she doesn't like to run from situations, and is now having to revert back to giving in to the need to follow it. And so even though it's dulled, I think she's going to try and hone in on that specifically and try to get that strength of the sensation back so that she can follow it to whatever it's trying to lead her to.
Okay. Wonderful. So,
While that's happening, Velden is going to try and reach out with the Force and sense in this space and see if anything.
Wonderful. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to do two separate rolls. Velden, for you first, I would like you to make me a Force check.
Okay.
Actually, Elsie, at the same time, do you have Sense or Seek? That's okay. What's your Force rating? I would like you to also make me a Force check. You can both do it at the same time.
Alrighty.
We're going to have some fun.
So how do I do this again? Somebody tell me how to do this again.
No worries. So if
just
you...
one white die.
White dice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
One white die.
Yes. I think that's good. I don't know.
That's good.
That's
Okay,
very good.
we did
You
it.
are amazing. Yeah. Ooh. So, Volden, I assume you're going to be using your light side.
Yeah, use my light
points for
side. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm just, I have to double check.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, the two of you both reach out with the Force. Valden, you're specifically looking for echoes. You're looking for whatever you can pick up from here. And immediately you are buffeted by violence and greed and frustration. But even those are almost layered, like caked on top of this much deeper, heavier, more intense anger and rage and disdain. It is overwhelming for a moment. It is exhausting. And if you weren't so deeply entrenched in the Force as you are right now, it may be more than just exhausting. Whatever happened here, there is malice. There was intent, and it's certainly not over. Lumira, reaching out with the Force is easy. You feel that pressure that you felt calling you here almost cut through like a good butter, seared as you reach, guided by the Force, forward. Before you know it, you're taking actual physical steps deeper into this place. And as you kneel, you see underneath the bottom of one of the like waist-high bookshelf units is another piece of parchment, sort of crumpled up as if into a ball. And you know that this is what's calling to you. It doesn't demand your focus the way it did before. Instead, you feel yourself gently led. You know that this is important for you, if not for all of this.
Absolutely would uncrumple it immediately.
And you see what looks to be part of a charcoal. Don't know why I can't word right now. I'm so sorry.
Rubbing?
Rubbing. Thank you. So sorry. Yeah, you see part of a charcoal rubbing. On it is a number of figures knelt, hunched over, as though in worship. Behind them, a number of trees, dead. But it's not all of whatever this etching is. It's only a portion.
Like it's part of a set or like a
Yeah.
but it doesn't look torn or anything, right? It's just like
No, it
a
doesn't look
page.
torn. It's just a page.
Okay. I think Lumira would turn her attention to Valdon and kind of note the finding of the charcoal and put the two and two together and definitely would walk to him and just without a word hand the parchment over to him and be like, I found this.
Take a look. See if just take a look at it in general and just see if anything about it stands out.
Why don't you make me a lore roll? We're going to say...
What difficulty?
Yeah, we're going to put this one at a 4.
Okay.
We're going to put this one at a... Yeah, we're going to put this one at a 4.
Why is it so
Alrighty.
high?
It's tough stuff. I am going to... Hold on. Let's see what we get.
You know what? Oh, yeah. Yes.
Got 3 successes and an advantage.
Oh, that's real good. I'd love to see it.
Damn.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna say. When you first look at this thing, did you also look at the one that had been brought over when you were with the bodies?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so immediately you can tell that these two fit together.
Okay.
There's a portion at the edge that quite literally you can just thinking on it would line up perfectly.
They would
with what
fit
you saw
together?
before. Yeah.
Okay.
You also realize that there's a few more pieces that are missing, certainly. But clearly this is of something detailing old worship here on Onderon, most likely. It's easy enough to make the connection that with the dead trees and the darkness, there's something else at play here. In fact, I think as you look at it more, you realize that maybe it's not here on Onderon, but it's close. It's similar. It's the same types of trees, mostly.
Okay.
And I think
Um,
you feel confident that if you get more of this sat down together, you'll have a pretty good idea of what you're looking at. I think the
Okay.
only thing barring you is the pieces, but you know you can tell in the back of your mind that you'll be able to put this together if you find it.
I'll be like, let's see if we can find more of these pieces. And kind of fan out, looking not only for more pieces in the rest of the kind of apartment, but just to see if there are any other things that seem like they're out of place or disturbed in a particular way in relation to the crime.
Absolutely. Why don't you roll for me a perception
Perception.
with and you can both make this roll if you'd like. And we're gonna put this at a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Okay. For perception, I'm sorry. I'm
no
so bad
worries.
at crunch.
Yeah,
Good.
All right. That's cunning, and my cunning is 3, and then I have 2. Okay, so 3 dice, 2 of which are green.
Three
But I
dice,
do-
2 of which are yellow.
Yellow. What's
Yeah.
green?
Yeah, so 2 yellows and 1 green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 yellows, 1 green, and then the 2 purple dice for the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting. I got 2 successes, but 4 threat.
Oh, I love this.
Huh.
That's a lot of threat.
Elsie, you want the purples instead of the blacks.
Oh,
For
yes,
the-
yeah.
Oh, the arrow. LOL.
Yeah.
No worries.
There you
The
go.
arrow's on the, it's on
Okay.
the other side. It's on the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do
so
me a
I'll
You want
favor,
some more threat?
If you can
No.
put
Hey, more threat. More threat.
It cancels out. She has advantage.
Yeah, I was gonna say because with the advantage
fine.
it'll cancel out.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
look
she'll
like
just have
anything
a
got rolled
success.
on the black dice anyway, so it still balances out to a success. Yeah.
It does.
Cool.
It does. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Wonderful. So we've got some good stuff going here. This.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the two of you are going to take some time to look around the apartment, and as you do, we're going to shift our focus in the meantime, and then we'll come back and talk about what these dice mean.
Alrighty.
So, is there anywhere in particular that you are going to try and guide her to, or are you just kind of going to let Ja take lead?
She's taking us to our Book Nook Cafe, isn't she? Like,
if you don't prevent her from taking you out of the complex, 100% she is in fact taking you. And she tells you as she's leading you, she goes, there's this lovely little cafe nearby where I've been getting a lot of my writing done lately, and I think it would be such a great place for us to be able to sit down away from prying ears and be able to have a great conversation about.
I like the idea of her just saying away from prying ears to nobody in the street.
Yes.
empty street, and we're just like, oh god. I think that
yeah.
Wei is like looking back and being like, oh, we should probably actually, yeah, he'd probably be like, as much as I would love this, it would be great if I could stay close to my Padawan. It's like, and he's like, also, if I could get my cane to the ground.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I'm happy to help support if you need the help. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm so sorry. I just got very excited. There's a lot of emotions sort of swirling up at once. I'm sure you know how it gets. That's sort of your whole thing, right? Is parsing and understanding and dealing with. All right, and she just kind of like slowly, almost reluctantly, lets you go, but she doesn't take her arm off of Nu. She's still got her arm like wrapped around your shoulder.
Nu will go wherever Ja wants to go. Nu's like, I think in the back of the head, as Wei kind of puts up protestation, and being like, oh, we need to actually be here. Finally the like fan brain starts to kind of ease a bit. I was just like, right, we're on the job, and goes, yes, as Master Wei said.
Okay, that's fine. We can look. We will at some point after all of this is done. We will have to all sit down and have a conversation because I need to hear more about what you think of, and it's fine. Okay. And she sort of like will stop when you're still by the like arch and sort of move away like into a corner of the courtyard. So you're far enough away from the lieutenant that she's not worried about being overheard. I have tried so many times to tell them this. They don't care because what could I possibly know? I guess. I don't know. It's incredibly rude. They've treated me very rudely and I don't appreciate it. But that's okay. That's not your problem. I'm sorry. Anyway. So I've been auditing the professor's class. I've been in Professor Benford's class for a while now. It's great. I've been doing some research for an upcoming novel. It's going to be a really great time. It was going to be set here on Onderon. We'll see if that's still the case. I don't know. But I've been sitting in on the class for a couple of weeks now. And I had tried to tell them about some of the interactions that he and I have had that maybe could provide some level of insight, but they didn't seem interested in hearing about it. The professor's been acting pretty weird the last few weeks. I don't know why, but when I first joined the class, he was very calm and well composed and put together, and honestly pretty dry. Not the first time I've had to sit through something like that. Not my favorite, but you work with what you got, right? And she kind of like squeezes you a little bit, as she says that. But he started showing up late, and he started getting lost in his own thoughts, and he was clearly distracted by something. Which, I mean, life happens, right? We all go through shit. It's fine. But so it's no secret that I try and make sure that I am as accurate as I possibly can be in my novels. I take a lot of pride in that. It's important. When you're writing with the sort of depth that I like to put into my stories, it's very important that you get a feel for the world as it is. I'm sure you understand. So sometimes you have to be able to find things that you might not normally be able to find, or go take a look at places that people don't always want you to. You don't have any actual, like, authoritative power here, right? I can't, like, tell you something and then get in trouble for it, Can I?
If you're asking if we can arrest you, no.
Wonderful. That's great. Not that I'm worried. I'd never do anything bad. But in theory, hypothetically, if someone was to need to get into places that they aren't supposed to go in order to hypothetically get a better idea of what places looked like or what sort of things took place somewhere, in order to hypothetically write their books with a level of distinguished historical accuracy, then hypothetically I would be someone who might be able to do something like that. And the professor was, as so many people are, a fan of my writing, and recognized that there were bits of information that maybe I only could have gotten, hypothetically, of course, even though you can't arrest me, from places that I'm not supposed to be. And he asked for tips.
For break and entry.
Yes, kind of. He was trying to find how to go about getting somewhere he wasn't supposed to be.
Do you know the location of this hypothetical place?
He didn't want to tell me about it, but he suggested, hypothetically, of course, that there was a place not too far that he needed to secure passage to, and asked if I might know how he could go about finding people who could secure him passage to a place that he hypothetically wasn't supposed to be in.
Secure passage? I don't know if you would hypothetically know if that was on planet passage or off planet passage.
Hypothetically, he wanted
planet.
someone with a ship, so probably not on planet. Hypothetically.
Huh.
Interesting.
Nu, did you keep that parchment?
Yes. We'll carefully take it out and look to Wei first and be like, "Is it okay that we
Yeah,
show
he just
this?"
nods.
We'll
Jar, are you
unfold it.
familiar with these images?
And Ja, like, almost like not aggressively, but like excitedly kind of snatches it from you and like looks it over, and then she goes, "I have no idea." But I've seen when we were talking, he had just like stacks of like old parchment like this. I don't know. It could have been from there. I don't. And she looks at it again. No, yeah, I don't. I don't know. I haven't. Nope. It's cool though. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Though he's kind of cute, this guy, right? And she like points it over. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I think like Wei does not like. I mean, Wei never looks impressed because of his mask, but he holds himself like he doesn't look impressed. He'll go, "Do you know of any topics that he has been currently fixating on? Bits where he gave extra information that wasn't part of the syllabus?" After school activities, raining on topics that.
So I'm not the person to talk to about that.
Okay.
If you're into the professor and I didn't have too many of these conversations. I was really kind of shocked when he was like, "Hey, I need you to stay after class so we can have a talk," and then we did. And it happened like 3 times. The first time he was just sort of asking me about my books, and I think he was kind of like fishing for it, and he wanted to see if like that was what's actually happening, or if I had like sources or what it might be. But we didn't really have like a casual relationship like that. If you want to know like about his inner thinking, you'd probably be better off talking to like Koduk. Koduk would probably be your best bet. Yeah.
Who's Koduk?
Oh,
That's
Koduk.
the student that we've. Is that the student we've had lifted, or is that somebody new? Yeah.
That's I believe they were mentioned.
The
yeah.
student who called in that he had been missing from
Yeah.
class. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Great.
And hypothetically speaking, what tips would you give to somebody looking for off-world passage?
Well, hypothetically speaking, there are a number of comms channels and unlisted digital markets that someone could hypothetically put out jobs on and hypothetically maybe get someone who would be willing to take one of those jobs or offer credentials or whatever else you hypothetically might need that might not be perfectly legal. Hypothetically. And it's not like dangerous or anything. It's just, for research.
Really?
Yeah. Wait, do you think? Okay, so yes, maybe
Not you.
What?
Not you, but
Oh, good. That was going to get very awkward very quickly.
Do you happen to have I'm just thinking back to your book, 5 Days in Jakku, and I'm thinking about the kind of mystery threads you were leading in that, and so I was wondering if you happen to have a theory as to, the whole wanting to jump off world, but then also, being murdered beforehand. So just thoughts is, yeah.
So, total speculation, right? Not like, but like, I have heard that maybe someone was in a not so public situationship, and that maybe my guess is that they were trying to maybe not so much go somewhere they weren't supposed to, but make like a quiet exit. That would be my guess. Sometimes situationships get awkward.
Did you happen to know curator Krull? Was he around very often?
I wouldn't say I knew him, but I've seen him a couple of times.
Nice.
Very passionate about his work.
What was that?
Very passionate about his work. You know, with the museum.
Did you spend much time at the museum for your research?
Oh no, I try to get everything firsthand. Museums, it's not they'll tell you what they want you to know, and honestly, listen, I don't. Just between you and I, a lot of the time, they're just gonna wash it all anyway, right? It's just whatever makes it sound better to be keeping things in the museum, right? I wouldn't. I don't put much stock in those things.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm getting a master class right now, and I'm very grateful.
You know, it is my absolute pleasure, and I'm always happy to see that. Like, you can come back. I'm gonna be here for a while. I've got at least another couple of months before I'm gonna. But we'll keep in touch. We'll exchange numbers. It'll be a whole thing. It'll be nice. It'll be great.
I would love that.
Maybe I can send you a copy of what I'm working on. See what your thoughts are.
Beta read for John Randor. Yes. Okay.
As long as you promise to keep it to yourself.
Oh, of course. I swear it. Yes.
And just at about that moment, you hear a sort of like gruff throat clearing from the lieutenant, who goes, "Well, shift's up. I'm gonna leave you to it. Just let 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 the hot one know that when you're done here, if he wants, I'll be getting a drink. He's welcome to join me.
He may take you up on that offer.
Good luck. And he barely even like acknowledges that you've responded before he like walks away.
Pauses for a second away, and he goes, "Which bar?"
He's already like.
I don't, Master Veldon's that interested. Which is too bad.
So I think we're gonna shift for a moment back over to the apartment, where I think you've managed to find a few more of these crumpled pieces of paper. Some of them are like there'd been a bit of rubbing done, but you could see where like it was too heavy or too light, and there's not enough. There are pieces that you found that just have words scrawled on them. They don't seem to really make a lot of sense together. It's like why was, or if only, but when. It's literally just these hanging like bits. But you do manage to get a few of these pieces, and you can lay them out on the table. And what you see is this almost complete, what looks like a tableau, kind of, with this large figure. You can only see like the lower half, but you can tell based on the space of the missing parchment that they sort of tower over everyone else in the image. And there is a like semicircle behind him that seems to have a few like carved in swirls. Knowing the piece that is missing, you can sort of in your head envision it. That is this like tall masculine figure standing beside what looks to be a large like vortex of some sort. There are a series of other figures knelt. Some have arms raised, others are fully prostrated in front of them. On the right is off in the distance a single sort of feminine carved figure, and there are more of these dead trees. In the back is what looks like a spire of some sort rising out from them.
Okay.
Master Vesaska, you've done a lot of research throughout your time, throughout your life. Has just galactic history on a whole interested you even before the Jedi? Is it just something you've always found yourself interested in, curious about?
Yeah, probably something that's always been an interest.
So, as you stand looking over this, it's been a long time since you've heard about it. But you recognize this to be the Edel's Doctrine. It's a series of 2 stone tablets that are supposedly a keystone piece of some of the oldest bits of Onderonian history, going back to a figure who they say was the first to ride one of the great beasts of the moon down to the surface of Onderon.
Okay.
Not much else is known about it. It's believed that it was likely carved by a cult that worshipped this figure that would then eventually evolve into whatever would evolve into modern society, as many cults do sort of just disperse when they lose their primary figures and don't have anything to rally against. There was many years ago during the old Jedi Order, a number of cults that had been sort of quelled in their sort of goings about, but a lot of that information is lost to time, unfortunately, and so specifics are scarce.
Okay. So these pieces would be the actual pieces themselves would be more of value to obviously like archaeologists and academics, but would they also have, like, because of their ancient connection, value with collectors perhaps of like
certainly.
rare? Okay.
100%.
Alrighty then. But probably because of the status of this cult, probably not a lot of interest just from the common person, or would this be something that would?
No.
So yeah, probably not.
Person probably would have no idea what this is.
Okay. All right.
Lumira, as you stand over this assortment of rubbings, making this larger image, you've never seen this before. It doesn't strike anything to you, except you see in the images shapes that seem to shift ever so slightly, as though made of shadow, drawing your eye to them. You don't recognize these shapes. They're just characters. But they pulsate as though themselves trying to pull themselves off of the parchment that they're on.
Is there? Oh, is it like on a table? It's on a table now. We've spread it out like
Yes.
out. Okay, I want to touch it.
You want to touch it?
I want to touch it.
I like that. I think that's a very good idea.
No explanation. I don't say anything.
You just
Just
reach
touch it.
out.
Just reach out.
Okay. This seems like a good opportunity for me to flip one of our dark side points. So we're going to flip one of those to the light. Lumira, you reach out and you touch these pieces of parchment. And for you, these shadowy characters seem to pull themselves across the parchment towards your hand. They begin to sort of assemble themselves before you. They still don't seem to make any sense, but as they bring themselves around your hand in a circular pattern, you realize that it looks almost like maybe letters. Words being formed around your hand, and then it begins to feel cold, ice cold, and burn, as though the two extreme temperatures seem to be waging war on your skin, on your fingertips. There's a numbness in the tips of your fingers, but beyond that, you can feel a fire starting to pulse through your body, up through your bones. And I need you to take 1 point of stress in this game?
Strain.
Strain, thank you.
Mhm.
I need you to take 1 point of strain. And then to tell me... Oh, yes, go ahead. You looked like you were going to say something.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What's up?
Oh, where is it? Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought the whole thing was written there, and I can't see it. Where are the force powers? I have to see if I... Am I going to make a skill check?
Only if you want to.
You have an ability that activates.
Yeah.
Ooh, what do
If
you
I
have?
choose to use it. I think it'd be a little silly goofy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
No, it's okay. It's our first
Yeah.
time really interacting with this.
Yeah, 100%. This is totally fine. I've had to look up
Okay.
a bunch of stuff today. You're good.
Okay. Never mind. Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's absolutely nothing that is silly at all. Okay.
What do you do?
Where is strain? Okay. 1 point of strain. Got it. Okay.
What do you do?
I don't remove my hand. I think this sensation is weird, awful, and means something. And would try to... I imagine that there's like a resistance in her own self-preservation, like reptilian brain, to try and pull away. So fighting against that force to push further and like actually touch the paper.
Sure. You rest your entire hand on this parchment. Valden, you see Lumira step forward, put their hand on the parchment, and their hand begins to tremble just a touch. Their focus is zeroed in. Lumira, you're going to take 1 more point of strain for me. And as this feeling spreads up your arm, into your shoulders, through your neck, down through the rest of your body, this heat that seems to be burning, screaming to be let out of you. You see these characters come to settle, and even though there is still a missing piece for the upper half of this figure that you know your companion has, where they would be, you can see those same burning red eyes again, looking up at you from the empty space. And for a moment, you feel right, good. And then you notice something. And I'm going to ask you to roll me a perception with a difficulty of 1. We'll see exactly what it is that you notice. So for your perception, you have 2 ranks in it. So your cunning is 3, right?
Uh-huh.
So it will
So
be
it's 2 yellow, 1 green,
1 green,
Yes.
and 1
and
purple.
1 purple.
Ooh, a triumph.
That's so good. Okay.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
The only time I ever roll well in a game that's not masks.
So as your body is lit in flame in a way that somehow feels correct, you notice one other thing in this image. In the back, barely visible, is something in the sky. It's like a round, marble-esque shape. But as you look at it, you start to see colors where there aren't any. And it becomes very clear to you that what you see off in the distance in the sky is Onderon. Close. Just there. And then, for a moment, everything around you is dark. And you see these dead trees jutting out of the black brown, dead grass, the dried, browned foliage crunching under your feet as these dead trees jut from the ground like spires reaching towards the sky. There is the smell of rot and of mold, and the air is thick. You fight to fill your lungs. Ahead of you is just a swirling pit of darkness. And in it you can see somehow an even darker outline of a figure. They point up. And when you raise your head, you see cutting through that darkness that same small orb hanging in the sky. Onderon. What do you do?
She would stare for a second up and then look back to the darkness and the figure outlined before it, and then take a step forward towards it and pause to see if they move, to see if anything changes, because I think it's a very weird sensation to suddenly be warped into this mental state. But I think that it's not very focused on that. She's not questioning it of how, I mean, those questions are in the back of her head, but it's not in the forefront. And it's more so finding out to find out more. That's it. To find out more, to find answers.
You take that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah.
You take that first step forward, and you feel two cold hands rest on your shoulders, heavy, and you hear a voice at the back of your neck. I am waiting. And then you bump against the table. Because you're here, in this apartment. Where else could you possibly be? And there is no pain, and there is no heat, and there is no cold. And there is no fear, and there is no pain, and there is no anger. Maybe. For a moment, everything's very disoriented. But you're here, where you were, just moments before. Up against the table, hand planted on the pages. What would you like to do? In fact, actually, Valden, what would you like to do as you see her step forward and then they sort of bump into this table and jolt just a bit?
Well, Onderon is a lovely planet. Too bad we can't stay, though.
We gotta go to the moon.
Valden is gonna kind of look close. Are you all right?
She's not gonna answer immediately. There's with that calm, I think, is the darkness still there? My hand is completely the way it was. Nothing lingering.
Nope. Nothing lingering.
I think your voice sounds a little bit muffled. It's like you were speaking in another room or underwater, and she's more entranced, and it's a calm sort of was described embrace as she raises her hand, and there's no fear, no pounding in the back of her head, no anxiety at all, and instead just looks at her hand almost like 1,000-yard stare, like flips it over as if like to wonder where that darkness went, where those symbols went, and was everything she saw real or imagined? But it had to be real because it felt real. But why does she feel so calm? And why did that feel right? And then just looks up at him and goes, I saw something, but I don't know what. And I think it's best if everybody be told, because there is no way what I saw is not going to lead us to the answers that we seek here. And I'd rather not speak it twice.
Very well. Perhaps we should get the others then. Go out and kind of see if I can see Wei Kesh and Nu Tin and kind of summon them.
Yeah, the two of you, I assume, will notice Walden sort of motioning.
Nod to Walden. Well, Joe, this has been absolutely lovely.
Hasn't it, though? I think it's been really nice. I've enjoyed it.
However, I do believe our associates require our assistance now. Thank you for your information. We'll be in contact.
Absolutely. Anytime. And she, like, swipes across her data pad, and if I remember correctly, you both linked up with the, like...
I did not.
Oh, you did not? Okay. Nu, you did, though, right?
Yeah, I linked.
Just immediate ding, and you now have Ja's contact information.
Tries to keep in the noise that is attempting to escape. Oh God! And goes, professionalism. Yes, thank you very much. I will be in contact, and then we'll try to stride after Wei.
And I think as the two of you head back to your companions, your respective master and student, it seems like as good a place as any for us to wrap today's session. Some answers, more questions.
One line that Wei would say,
Yes.
just to Nu, as they go out of earshot. She's just as pretentious as her writing.
Oh. I think you just hear garbled, like, behind translator. Just like...
Excellent. Amazing. So, with that, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much to our wonderful cast. Y'all are amazing. I cherish y'all every single week. Every time we get to sit down together to do this. I just
Yes.
am in awe of y'all. Thank you to our amazing chat for always hanging out, being here. We always appreciate you so much. We're going to take a moment so you can be told where you can find all of these amazing people, who they are, what they're up to, and all that. We're going to see if I can remember the inverse order. I believe we ended on LC.
So that is me first.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Hi, I'm Elsie. I'm Optimistics on all social media. I use she, they pronouns, and I was Lumira Sol today. How dare Lion end on that cliffhanger, because now I have to wait 2 weeks to find out everything that it means. So that's fun for all of us. I think it's a little treat. You can find me, however, tomorrow at 10 a.m. It'll be great. I'm not going to sleep after work. And we are doing a fundraiser, though, for Extra Life Week and over on Live from the Apocalypse. I am playing in a House of Leaves themed Call of Cthulhu game. I'm so excited. I'm in the middle of reading House of Leaves now, and it is insane. I am only on page 40. It's been 2 weeks. It takes forever to read this book. Other than that, you can find me every other alternating Tuesday on Entropy Emporium for our Masks game. It is Masks. I can't roll well there, so if you think this was fun, check that out. I only roll failures. I'm halfway to my second advancement. And we're doing great. We just got dumped in a WandaVision-esque setting of first, I don't know, maybe it was Scream. The second one, though, we are in a medical drama. But I'm dying. So I'm the patient.
Well, damn.
Nice.
That's it. And here.
Okay. Now I think Katelynn, you are next, right?
I think so. Hey everybody, I'm Katelynn Kenny. I played Nu Tin today and every couple weeks. Very glad to be here with y'all. Have an absolute blast. You can find me at KKENNEY plays at KKenny plays. And yeah, find me here. Come on back. And I pop around a couple different channels doing some stuff. So you might catch me over at the Tabletop Test Kitchen with Tales of Initiative, I believe is the correct. I always forget of or from. And then occasionally at the Lost Caravan as well. So thank you so much. All right, I throw it over to Zach, I think was the...
That is me. Hey, everybody. I'm Zach. I just collapsed the information I was about to tell you. I've been way cash for you. You can find me on all the socials at Schedule for Launch. And starting this Thursday, I'm getting back into streaming a little bit on things. So you can find me on my channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, where I am going to be running a group through For Whom the Bell Tolls by Christopher Herdstrom, which is an alien cinematic scenario. So it should take us 3 sessions, hopefully. And if not, I'm going to stretch that.
That's super
There's
exciting.
going to be death.
Nice.
There's going to be xenomorphs. There's going to be working Joes. So we'll see how it goes.
It's gonna be a good time.
Rhyming. Fun. You can find me on the socials that's scheduled for launch, though.
Stefan.
And I am Stefan, and you can find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter at Umbral_KnightX or on Blue Sky at UmbralKnightX. Got some things in the works, some stuff maybe coming up soon with Chaotic Wholesome, working on maybe doing something for Black History Month once again. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Possibly maybe over on the Apochromatic channel, some things working as well. So keep your eyes open for those things coming up. And I have been playing Jedi Master Valden Vos Eska, who may end up later on. You're gonna have to tune back in to see if maybe I can get another member of this police force meeting up with the lieutenant to turn away from their policey ways. We're gonna convert this entire police force, make them question their policing ways and their life choices. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Love that so much. I guess that leaves me. Hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I am the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios, and I have had the absolute pleasure of being your tail slinger for this game. You can find me at the Lion Knight 42 on Twitter and everywhere else at It's Drake Lionheart. You can also find me at TFTT Studios all across everywhere on socials, because Tales from the Table Studios is too long for most places, except here, where you can find me at Tales from the Table Studios. If you've enjoyed what we've done here, want to see more of these amazing people, or just hang out in a community full of amazing individuals, great creatives, and more, you can join our Discord. Check over in the chat now for the link. We have a whole channel devoted to where you can find our cast and all of the cool stuff that they're getting up to. It's also the best way to keep up to date with our schedule when we put out casting calls and all the other cool stuff that we're doing. We're going to have some exciting announcements in the coming weeks. Maybe not so much about games just yet, but we're going to have some other cool announcements about some stuff that we've got going on, stuff that's coming, and stuff that's happened. It's going to be really cool. We're very excited. 2025 is looking like it's going to be super hype. I can't wait to be able to talk more about it. But for now, that's all I can say. So until next time, thank you so much for being here, everyone. Remember, take care of yourself, eat enough food, drink enough water, love yourself, do the things you got to do. And always remember to tell your tales. We love you. We'll see you soon.